Besides doing things in my shop like getting dust collection set up and also getting a massive trim in my beard and hair, I have decided to do a next project. A little bit of history on this project. My mother-in-law was very proud of a railroad stool that she had from the olden days when you used to actually do railroad travel. This stool that she had, she displayed pretty prominently in her house, and I kind of liked it myself, so I had recreated this years and years and years ago. And I did it my way, so it's a little different than her original, but it's still the same basic concept. And this is a stool that I had made. It's got a handle on the top, and the idea is that you would put this stool in front of the steps, and then people could step on the stool and then step on the lowest step of the railroad car. It's got a little bit of nice design flair on the sides. And then it's got a little bit of the arch here on the end. And it tapers in, so it has a nice wide stance. So it's much less likely to tip over when standing on it. The original was just butt jointed on these edges here, but what I did was, when I made it, I put a wascally wabbit, and jointed it with that on all four corners. And then I also use a block to attach the top on. And what I did was, because hers was also green, is I spray painted it, then I distressed the wood a little bit, and then what I did was I sanded off the spray paint mostly, leaving it look like it's kind of a worn finish to it. And then I added the vinegar steel wool finish on it to give it a nice little finish on it, and then I added a final finish on top. I think it looks really nice. So my brother has asked for a step stool for me to make him one, and he said, don't spend a lot of time and make something really nice. And I said, well, I kind of want to make something nice, so I am going to recreate this, but I'm going to create a little bit taller because he wants something that's 14 inches tall. It is the next day, and this has been glued up for at least 12 hours. And now it's time to have my big reveal on these two boards. My little clamping cowls, all they are a piece of 2x4s cut in half, and then a piece of cellophane tape so the glue doesn't stick. They work just fine. I have wax paper in between, so the two boards, since there's two in here, the idea is that they don't stick together, but they seem to have a little bit. But there's a solution to that problem. We got a chisel here, and what we will do is just introduce the chisel to the edge here. Oh, wow. Ruh-roh. There we go. I'm going to call it a day. I had a lot of other work that I was doing today, so just this little bit of work is plenty. But I have milled down the two ends, and then the two sides and the top. So now it's going to be time to start cutting shapes and making it pretty and putting it together. So that is going to be reserved for pretty much tomorrow. So good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. killing me. Well, I cut dado so that the sides fit in nicely. And now I need to shorten this a little bit. But also one thing I want to do is, since these lean in, the angle is not squared to the floor and it won't be squared to the top. So I need to cut on the top, I need to cut an angle that the inside is lower than the outside, and on the bottom, the inside is also lower than the outside. But this angle is just some random angle I picked, so how do I do that? So here's my theory. It's just a theory. We don't know if it's going to work yet. And that is, put that on like that, and then I'm going to tilt the table saw blade until it matches, making sure I don't get into a tooth. There you go, that matches. So now I know this angle for the table saw blade matches the angle of this board here. Now, this board is not the one I'm going to be cutting right away. This is. I have off camera rounded off the bottom edges of all four boards, and I have also sanded to 150 grit. I'm not going to sand further on the inside, it's not necessary. So it's time to assemble the base, and that should be fun to watch since there's only two hands here. To make life a little bit easier, I'm going to use my pin nailer. Alright, there's one more thing I want to do and modify one thing on this, and that is I did use the lumber from the discount rack at the orange box store, and after I had it assembled, I noticed there's a couple cracks here. So even though it's pretty strong right now, there's no guarantee it's going to stay that way. So what I want to do is I'm going to determine the angle here, and I'm going to make a little piece that fits in the corners. So I got this bevel gauge. It's not fancy like most woodworkers, this one, but it does the job. So just going to set it on here, tighten it up. Alright, and now cut the pieces. Base is glued up, and now we're going to do some final sanding a little bit. And I put the braces on the inside like that. I put a little bit of a point here so that way it's not as obvious when you're looking at it from the base. Looks kind of good. I don't know what's going on with my woodwork lately. This will probably still come out nice, but I'm a little bit disappointed with my woodworking lately. It's almost like I lost skill. So I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully I'll turn it around soon. And yeah, who knows? This may still come out good. So we'll see. So the idea of this particular bench is that it's going to be somewhat distressed. What I want to do is I'm going to stamp in my 10 fingers woodworking into the top of the bench. So I'm going to do somewhat centered. It probably won't be perfect, but it'll be good enough. So I marked roughly the center by eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. And now we will start putting in our letters. So there's 11 letters, including spaces, or 22 letters, including spaces. So 11 on the left and 11 on the right. So 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
10. So we're going to put a 1. There we go. That's like this. One, 0. I did make a mistake. And on the O's, I didn't notice I picked the Q's instead. So it says WQQD instead of wood. I fixed it, did it right with the word woodworking, but looks good. We're going to start painting. Okay, I got this painted up, nice and pretty green, and it's too solid. What I really want is the distressed look on this, and it's a little bit of an annoyance to do this job because first you paint everything nice and solid, and then you selectively sand it off so that you have areas that are still painted green and areas that are wood colored, and you just kind of randomly, selectively produce wear patterns. I have sanded it, and now we have all these really nice places where it looks pretty well worn. I didn't sand the edges, and I probably should have, but I didn't. And what I'm going to do now is, because it's white wood is a little too white, I'm going to use the vinegar and steel wool wood darkening agent. And it's a technique I really like, but it ages the wood really nicely. Hopefully I still have some. This is the danger of doing reorganizations. You lose stuff. I know I have a jar of this stuff somewhere. Look what I found. The way I do it is, what I will do is I will spread it on there and set it in the sun. Let it soak in for half an hour to an hour, and then spread it on some more. And when you first put it on, it doesn't look like it's going to do anything, but you'll see it'll get dark, hopefully. This stuff might be getting old, so it's possible it doesn't do the job very well. Worst case scenario, that's as dark as it gets, but that's still not half bad. So, into the sun it goes. And we'll see you again in about half an hour. Alright, it's ready for a second coat. And I'd like it a little darker than this, but one of the things that this method does, it leaves a dusty powder on the surface, which is all right, but it also raises the grain. Now, I'm not a big fan of the dusty powder, but I am a big fan of the color shift that occurs. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my finest grit sandpaper, and I am going to do a quick once over to pick up the raised grain. It'll be smooth as glass, and then I'll put a final finish on it. To secure the top, I like to use these little figure 8 fasteners, and the way they work is that if you'll notice, there's a bevel on this side on this figure 8, but if I turn it around and flip it over, there's a bevel on this side. So what you do is you drill a hole, and then I use a 3/4 inch Forstner bit, and you put it, make the hole deep enough to accommodate this dealy whacker, and then using a chisel you cut out the little inset right there like that, and then you can put screw into one side. Once that is done, you can flip the whole thing over, set it on top of the upside down tabletop, and screw in the final 4 screws, and you've got a secure method of maintaining. And then what's nice is that these move, so if you put them in the right place, what will happen is they will overcome the wood expansion. Well, this is another project completed. I put in 3 coats of polyurethane to protect the wood from where the paint was sanded off, and we have 10 fingers WQQD working. I misread the OQs on the stamps, put QQ, but you know what, it looks great in my opinion. I do like the distressed wood look. I don't do it very often, but I really do like it, and I think this was a success. Good. Finally, after every woodworking project, you should always count your fingers. You end with 10. Good job.
You should have made a sample of that stool. That way you would have had a stool sample.